While most seasons of our married mart follow a pattern, this season is surely a surprise. Your duty is to cater to Mr. Bridgerton's dreams.
What about my dreams?
Ladies do not have dreams. They have husbands. Gossip as I might, this author cannot tolerate a lie.
Dearest gentle watchers, welcome to Cinema Express. I'm Jayabhuvaneshwari.
And I'm Narayani.
And here we are today to discuss the latest season of Bridgerton. Before we go into the conversation, this is going to be a spoiler-filled conversation. So in case you've still not caught on the latest season of Bridgerton, pause this video, go back to Netflix, finish the season and come back to listen to what we're going to discuss. So this season, I think, was the most anticipated season because there was so many eyes on like Penelope and Colin, and people have been waiting to know this love story. I had very mixed feelings about the season, but first I want to listen to your thoughts.
But I, on the other hand, I really liked the season, especially the first part that came on May 2nd week. And then we had like a month's break, although we were like, oh my God, this is such a long break and we would like to have all the episode run at the same time. Penelope was, Nicola Coughlin said, we worked on this for 2 years, but at least just wait for a month. Okay, so we gave it 1 month and then we watched it. And I feel the first part was much more nicer, but the second part was much more meatier in sort of introspecting onto a lot of emotions as to dealing with a lot of things that happened towards the second part. The first part was just setting the stage of what just happened between their relationship and how they're taking it forward and how Penelope has this beautiful glow up. Like, I, for some reason, thought of Penelope as Cinderella. Because like even in Cinderella, she was like this, she was mistreated by her stepmothers, everybody. And then she has this beautiful glow up moment with like when like a fairy just gifts her something and then she gets like a glow up, she has a new gown and she has a new carriage.
So here the fairy godmother would be the carriage. But the fairy godmother would technically be the French costumer. The tailor, right? Oh, and the carriage. Oh my God, it actually matches perfectly up with the story of Cinderella. And interesting. And Colin figures how beautiful she finally is. But I actually had a bit of a problem with the love story as such.
Okay.
You know, it was the love. See, Bridgerton is romance. It's love, right? And the romance was just few and far in between, I felt, because we had too many subplots. I'm not complaining. I loved most of the stories. But the focus is Penelope and Colin. And see, generally, every single season, we have this main couple who we are focusing on. And then there are a lot of conflicts. There's a roller coaster, right? And we know how it's going to end. There's obviously a happily ever after. But the payoff is generally brilliant. For the past 2 seasons at least. This season, I felt the payoff was not that great because even in the first part when they get together finally, Colin and Penelope, I felt it was too rushed. It came out of nowhere, right? She looked amazingly hot eating cake, but that's not all the reason for you to fall in love with her. So, that was a little bit rushed. And even in the second, I felt like the first part was entirely about Colin feeling jealous over Penelope and not Debling. And then the second part was about him feeling jealous that she's Lady Whistledown. So it was all about Colin's jealousy at the end of the day. So that alone didn't sit very well with me. I felt like the romance could have been explored a little bit better.
I agree, because this friends to lovers plot has been there since time immemorial, and there could have been so much done with that particular theme of the story. Because during the first season, we had the diamond of the season, who's Daphne Bridgerton, and then we didn't, first she didn't like the Duke, and then the Duke didn't like her, and then they finally get together. And
they bond for each other.
And then the second one is like a forbidden romance. They were not allowed to even see each other because Anthony was sort of engaged to Edwina, and then they had to be like, no, we liked each other, and then we had like a brilliant payoff in the end.
And it was like nice hatred turned to love kind of a thing. See, every season has that, and this season was friendship to love, but I just felt it came out of place. That's what I felt. But I really liked, as you said, Penelope's arc is brilliant, and I liked how the makers, although this is literally set in the Regency era where everything is regressive, right? Like the women don't know how children are born. Literally, they don't know the process. So that's how it happens. But still, Penelope talks for herself. like when she's outed as Lady Whistledown, she speaks up for herself. It's not Colin or anybody else who has to come and save the damsel in distress. So that was very nice to look at. It was very nice, and yeah, I love the women of the season. Actually, what do you think?
Yeah, in Portia's words, why should I be punished over and over again? She says, and yeah, even they speak about feminism, they speak about wanting to be independent, but there's no sort of sexual awakening for them. Nobody tells them what to do. Even in first season, we saw Daphne asking someone, "How are children even born?" And I'm like, how can you be this unaware?
I think even in the second season, Eloise has the same doubt.
Exactly.
So every season, we just see women not realizing what.
Yeah.
And the season.
Even, did you remember even Penelope speaking to Marina Thompson when she had like the forbidden baby, which nobody was allowed to speak about that, and even she would ask, "Hey, what happened? Can I know?"
Yeah, how did it happen?
And she would be like, "It's just cake."
Yeah.
And we saw that implication right over here when she was eating cake, and and Colin was gazing so seductively over Penelope. So that sort of baffled me a lot.
I saw a meme that said that Violet did this when
exactly.
When he was eating Lord Anderson was eating
Marcus
biscuit. Yeah. So that's why Daphne is behind Duke when he's licking the spoon, and Colin looks at Penelope that way when he's eating cake.
Oh my God,
I just love these memes. Yeah.
And there's a lot of players, like you said, there's a lot of subplots and a lot of players. So one of the main players is Francesca Bridgerton. Right. She's properly debuting this season, and she's so pretty. I understand that why they must have cast a different person from the previous
She looked
season.
more young, right? Yeah.
And Francesca's story is the most, I feel, interesting of them all. Although everybody has an interesting plot, Francesca's story is much more interesting in the books. But this season, it was just like, the first few episodes, we see her debuting and we see her being named as Diamond.
Yeah.
And then towards the second plot, she's just like jealous over the other people getting their thing. And she just wants to be like, hey, let me just get married in a very quiet function.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, spoiler alert for those who don't know. I mean, those who don't know anything about the books. Francesca has a whole season dedicated to her, so I'm excited for that because they've all added a twist with the Michaela Sterling character.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be Michael Sterling, but it's Michaela Sterling, so it's interesting. I want to see how the whole queer movement is going to work with the Regency period. But again, I was really happy about them exploring the whole LGBTQ thing, the aspect, the spectrum and everything. But I was not really happy with how Benedict as well as Francesca was not given much time to explore who they are, what they are. I really do hope Benedict gets a season. Because a lot of people, when they were asked whom they would be married to, like the cast of Bridgerton, when they were asked whom they would be married to if they were just themselves from Bridgerton, they said it would be Benedict. So Benedict is like the most fond, like he's one of the fondest characters from Bridgerton. So I think he deserves a season where we just explore his queerness, we explore his sexuality. He explores his sexuality. Yeah, I just really hope that happens. But coming back to the women, another misfire that I felt in the season was the role of Lady Danbury. So she always has this role to play where she is, she's the matchmaker. She's always there, up and there in the lives of this main couple. But this time, she focused more on Francesca, of course. But there was nothing there was just one dialogue between Penelope and Lady Danbury towards the end of the season.
You mean Violet?
No. I mean Danbury and Penelope. When they talk about Lady Whistledown, she'll tell that she knows. She was Lady Whistledown. So that was nice, but that was the only conversation that they have. So that alone I felt was a little like, it could have been better, Lady Danbury's role. But yeah, as you said, I loved the conversation between Danbury and Violet because it brought back the whole reference from Queen Charlotte, and that was so nice. Like for those who have actually watched Queen Charlotte, I think that would like life comes a full circle, like that was really nice. Yeah, I love the women basically. I love the three main characters that really shown this season was Violet, Lady Danbury and Portia Featherington, because they all had individual arcs and subplots, which was quite interesting to watch.
Speaking about misfires, I don't think you remember how fans of this book were not so happy when the season came out, because already they had skipped Benedict's plot and then they moved to Penelope. And then for this Michaela Sterling's introduction in towards the end.
Yeah.
And they had completely changed the whole arc. I understand towards this era and it's their adaptations, it's Shondaland, so they could take all the liberty that they want to.
In fact, for those who haven't read the books, I just did a little bit of research, even I have not read the book. But it's apparently Lady Danbury who is behind finding the identity of Lady Whistledown, not the Queen. So even that has changed. So I think book lovers are always going to be disappointed when anything is adapted into a series or a movie. But yeah, this is a lot of change in screenplay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You were saying.
And then when people were talking about the whole Michaela Sterling incident,
Right.
there was a lot of comments that said that this was not what they expected. But they also it also sort of exposed the sort of internal homophobia that was residing in all of these people's hearts. But for Benedict's story, I really liked Lady Tilly Arnold for the woman that she was. I really like the fact that women who are widows were also given like a romantic plot. Everybody, when they were talking about violence, new romantic interest, everybody in the room were like, hey, she's happy, so why do we need to even interfere? And I really like that.
True.
And that was sort of the progressiveness was always there, I feel. But again, Lady Tilly Arnold, she's
a new widow. She's a young widow.
But did you see that she didn't even have a plot at all? They were just continuously having sexual escapades. But apart from that, she would speak about profound thoughts like, hey, we are not allowed to break rules, but we are breaking rules and things like that. But where is the exploration of a character? The exploration of the character was not there.
That's what I'm saying. So there were so many subplots. Every character had like a story. There's a story for even Kate and Anthony, who had an entire season last time, but they go to India and all of that. So I felt like they tried to stuff too much into one season, which they could have little bit, I mean, or just give us 2 more new episodes so that it was more like, evenly spread across the season. But again, coming back to relationships in this season, it was, I mean, romance was not the only relationship that I enjoyed, right? Like I had a lot of fun, for example, watching Eloise and Benedict, even though it was like just few scenes, in the end when she just hugs him and says, you're going to miss me. It was so beautiful. That moment was so beautiful. So yeah, I loved. Do you have anything to say about that? Like family
because we've always seen Claudia Jessie, who's Eloise, and then Penelope Featherington always having these close sort of relationships. But then they had sort of a breakup during the season, and so she had to explore other people. Like, and then she moved on to befriending Cressida Cooper, who
temporarily,
who's Jessica Madsen is completely like absolute banger of an episode she had when she announced that she was whistled down when she was not, and then she wanted to reclaim what she had lost, and then again Eloise was like, why did I even befriend her? And because she wrote so many scandalous things about the whole family, Bridgerton, and pulled their name down. But I think that's sort of, I was kind of expecting that it would happen.
Oh, but I loved her wigs and her sleeves. I'm totally taking screenshots out of everything. I'm like, okay, I've got to use this in some fashion inspiration. Yeah, you were saying.
And not just that, even little moments that even Penelope had with her mother, Portia, or Francesca had with her mother, Violet. All these small moments added to the whole weight of the whole scenario. Like, it was like, hey, let me heal my generational trauma with my mother. Let me sort out things with my mother before I go on with my own lives.
Girl power.
Yeah.
But you know what I loved? The foreshadowing in that whole Francesca scene where, Violet tells her daughter how she felt when she met her love. And then we see the same thing replay when Francesca meets Michaela. Oh, that was beautiful. I was like, oh my God, she's stuttering. She's fallen in love. So it was beautiful. The foreshadowing was just brilliant.
And I think even the foreshadowing spoke about love your person till your death.
Yeah.
When the official sort of announces their wedding,
they
would say that, hey, love him till your dying breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're foreshadowing this. This was
That's coming up in the next season, guys. Whenever it's Francesca season, but we're not gonna spoil that also for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was nice talking about how we felt
and how amazing it is that the Regency era women, especially Penelope, had so much money during the time just by writing. And who knew that writing would be a great career at that time, and she would earn so much by being a gossip writer. I think she stood as an example for that, being independent, earning her own money, taking care of herself. And even when Cressida demands money, she would be like, I am. And Colin's just like, you're rich.
Where did you get that money from? So I mean, very interesting season. We have to wait 2 years for the next season. So there's a lot more we're going to be discussing, I think, just amongst ourselves, watching Instagram reels, and a lot of more theories are going to come up in the next 2 years.
Yeah, and we also don't know who's going to be the protagonist of the next season.
Next
That's
story,
also being debated a lot.
I think it should be Eloise. Because, I mean, ideally it should be Benedict, but I don't know if they're coming back to Benedict anytime soon.
Since Eloise has gone abroad with Francesca, it might take a season or 2 probably for her to have her own awakening and then be like, hey, I'm mature now, I can take my own decisions and things like that.
So maybe it's Benedict then.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's see. That has a whole new story that they have to write, I guess. And I don't know if they're going to go with the book's version of the story.
So thank you for staying tuned with Cinema Express on this discussion of Bridgerton season 3. We'll meet you in probably another season or in probably another episode of another series altogether. So thank you for tuning in and stay tuned for more content from Cinema Express. Thank you.
Thank you.